want to have that splitter so that we can hear the vocals and hear what's there. Right for tonight, I'm just going to put these earbuds in and then have that on so I can hear. Okay.
It wears on your ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big O Tires of Evanston. Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on.
Well, Coach, let's talk first about Thursday night's.
This has been the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show. We're about 5 minutes away from tonight's opening serve, and we'll be back with the starting lineup. You've been listening to a Big O. This has been the Cindy Stewart pregame.
Well, Coach, let's talk first about Thursday night's win over Manila. How did you feel about the win, 3-0 win over the Mustangs?
Oh, loved it. It was good for us. We thought we played good. We had fun. Kemi Lamborn got 22 kills, and Ellen Peart had 18 digs, which is a real good strategy for other teams to go at your setter. And she dug the ball, and that was really, really good. And Reagan Lloyd had 16 points, and we passed really well. Kemi had 69% perfect passing, so I thought we played really well. They put up a good block, which was good for us to get to see and to go around and get used to covering it. I thought we covered it really well. She blocked us, but we covered it. We dug it back up, so that was good.
Yeah, big number 13, Rebecca Collett. She made it hard for you guys. I noticed that you had to change strategies a little bit because she got up there and made a few blocks.
Well, I think we swung away at her, and then we could just come back with a tip. Her block was a lot better than their floor defense.
Did that make it tough a little bit on Peart? I noticed that a few of her hits went long. Was she trying to hit over, or was she just mistiming things?
I think her problem tonight, well, she's been so solid on the hitting, but tonight I think her sets were a little low, and she was coming fast, and she does, she's a small girl, and so I think that her and the setter were off a little.
How did you feel about Manila? I know you've mentioned to me you've done a lot of work trying to get other teams in your region to improve and be better and more solid programs. How do you feel about their performance on Thursday?
I was thrilled. I'm so glad to see them. They're going to upset some teams. They're going to do well at state. They've got some good solid. If they could pass a little better, and maybe they didn't pass so well because we serve so good, but they're really a good solid little team for our region.
And looking ahead, you've got Lyman here tonight, another home match. Seems like you're getting a lot of home matches lately, but what do you know about Lyman?
Well, Lyman beat us twice at a tournament this summer. Years past, Lyman was really, really good. We always had just barn-burning battles, and then they kind of went down a little bit, so we took them off our schedule. But now we met up with them, and I knew one of the former assistant coach kind of hooked up with me again, so we put them back on our schedule. And like I say, they beat us twice, so this should be one of our good home matches. We don't get many great home matches, but this should be a great home match.
Do you see a lot of, in the teams or the girls that are participating in the summer programs, are they really the same? It's the same team as is here in the fall for Lyman and for you guys?
Oh, for sure, yeah. We pretty much have to go on those team things to everyone else is playing club ball year round, so we try to get a lot of playing in the summer in those team camps and camps all over. So,
are there things as the season? You're maybe in about halfway through, almost through the season, things that you are honing in on that the team needs to improve on?
No, we're just finally glad that this 6-2's working. It's doing good. We're real excited about it. I think that Ellen and Andy both do a great job setting, and that keeps Ellen in the swinging lineup. And of course she serves and plays such great defense. So and she's playing that right side setter defense super. That's what a lot of strategy is. So that's going to really be a plus for us.
You mentioned the 6-2 is coming together. Are there things that have surprised you that the team has done well this season?
I think making that change, that was hard for us. We've never in 20, 30 years ever run anything but a 5-1. So that's been a hard mindset to accept and go with, and the girls have. And Ellen being so fast, she can play. She's in on every play. She's either digging it, hitting it, passing it, setting it, or, serving it. So it's a great little athlete there that's taking a lot of balls and touching a lot of balls for us.
Well, it's sure a pleasure. It's fun for me to watch and be able to do this on the radio. Thank you.
Thank you. We love having y'all come.
Testing, testing, check, check. Test, test. Testing.
Big O Tires of Evanston presents...
I need to be quiet a little bit. Test, test. There we go. Okay. Go. I haven't started yet. Yeah, but I'll start it right now.
Big O Tires of Evanston presents Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 with video online at kadqradio.com. Today's match is brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals. Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists and Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set is brought to you by the station in Randolph, and your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast is You Win a Title. And now it's time for a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Sports on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Lady Rebel pregame show. Ryan Steinekert here on KADQ FM 98.3, and you can watch online at kadqradio.com. Tonight, the Lady Rebels take on the Lyman Lady Eagles here. Actually, the match has been moved to Rich Middle School. That power outage at Rich High School in Randolph forced this match to be moved here to Rich Middle School in Laketown, and it's the first serve is scheduled for about 20 minutes from now. And in the meantime, we have our pregame show. It's all coming up here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM and online at kadqradio.com. And in this segment of the pregame show, we'll talk about tonight's action. We'll set the scene for tonight's game. And as I mentioned, the match has been moved here to Rich Middle School and set back about half an hour. But it looks like actually we're going to be set to about start right around 6 o'clock. We might start right about the original scheduled time. The JV match went real quick. Lyman took care of business 25-11, 25-19, and 15-12. Lady Rebel JV team really battled, especially after that first set. They struggled, but they battled hard in sets 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, and almost came back for victory in that third set, but unable to get over the hump, and the Lady Eagles got the victory there. Now, it's a step away from region play. Rebels just last Thursday night, 2 nights ago, got that victory over the Manila Mustangs, 25-17, 25-9, and 25-16 on the Uinta scoreboard. And with that victory, the Rebels improved to 3-0 in region play, region 17, and Manila dropped to 1-2. That sets up a pretty good matchup this coming week for homecoming, with Tabiona coming to town this coming Friday, a week from yesterday. As for the Lyman Lady Eagles, they come in with an overall record of 4-5, and I was talking with Coach Brisha Hansen, and we'll hear an interview from her here in just a little bit. But she's pleased with the way her girls are playing. Real happy about how the Eagles are playing. They started off well. They've had some struggles, but she says they've really played well. They're playing hard. They're not just giving in, or not. Every match they've played has been competitive. They've played well and played hard against all of the opponents they've played against. Now the Rebels coming into this one are 5-4 overall this season after that win over Manila the other night, and looking to improve on that. And we'll just have to see how things go. These teams have not played each other during the regular season in a long time, but as we'll hear our coaches talk about, they did play each other over the summer at a Utah Valley University tournament that took place in Orem during the summer, and the Lyman Lady Eagles, I believe, got the better of the Rebels in two different matches during that tournament. So we'll hear the coaches talk about that as well. Well, that's what's going on here at the Rich Middle School. It's a smaller venue, and we've got stands on one side, the bleachers on one side of the gym. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, the bleachers are would be on the left side of the screen there, and you see the Rebels warming up here on the right side, or on the far, yes, here on this right side, right in front of you, and the Lyman Lady Eagles warming up on that far side of the net here at Rich Middle School. Well, that's what it looks like here courtside. We're about 15 minutes away from the start of tonight's action, and coming up, we'll visit with the coaches in tonight's matchup on the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show. We'll be right back to the pregame show. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM at 98.3, and you can watch the game online at kadqradio.com.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend, and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich, inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Well, Coach, let's talk first about Thursday.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ 98.3 FM and online at kadqradio.com. It's time now for the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show. And first we'll visit with Lyman Eagles head coach Brisha Hansen. Coach, tell me about how your season has gone so far. How do you feel about it?
Overall, I feel pretty well. Our record doesn't show that we've been super successful. but we haven't had one match that has been a pushover team. Every single match that we've played against a pretty good team on the other side of the net. So every win that we've gotten, we've earned, and every loss, with the exception of one game in particular, or maybe two I can think of, we competed hard and narrowly lost. Most of our losses have come with just a few points difference here or there. So far I'm pretty pleased with how the season's going.
So there must be, it sounds like there's more to it than just wins and losses for you. You feel like the girls are playing good.
Well, if you would ask me that same question this time last week, my answer would be no. We played Mountain View here last week, and we were horrible. We played so bad, and which I think there's a little more to that. Their school's about 5 miles away from ours, and so there's a whole rivalry situation, and we just didn't show up to play. But since then, no, that was 2 weeks ago, we played Mountain View. Since then, we've gone to the tournament in Rollins, and we've had a few other matches, full matches, and we have competed, and we've started playing much better. So yes, I am happy with how we're playing.
So you have, I think, 4 seniors on the team. Do they have a lot of experience from last year on varsity?
Yes, yep. All 4 seniors got a substantial amount of playing time last year on the varsity team, so they are experienced, yeah.
And how is that helping out this year so far?
Well, it's been interesting. I've got 8 full-time varsity players, 4 seniors, 4 juniors. But really, honestly, if I'm speaking honestly here, I've yet to find a leader on my team. I don't know who that one person is who's, taking ownership for what's going on. So it is helpful to have that playing experience, but mentally and emotionally, I don't have a leader at this point. And so I really think that's where our issues are right now, is our mental and emotional game, not so much our physical game. So how we improve that, that's maybe the toughest part of coaching it all, is to figure that out. So
I was going to ask you, what are you going to do, or what do you do as a coach to fix that? But that's maybe if we knew that answer, we'd all be making big money.
Yeah, I might not be in the conundrum in the first place. Yeah,
Right.
So I've asked the kids to do a couple of things. I've met with 4 of them individually, talking about anything from physical things to reactions to mistakes on the court to body language and how they, how other people perceive that, how teammates perceive that. I still have yet to meet with the other 4. So I think honestly how you solve that problem is a lot of talk, is calling them on it when it's not appropriate. But as far as like a leadership, how do you make a leader without a leader? I think those are either qualities kids have that will, if they haven't emerged yet, that will emerge as the season goes on and they get a little more invested in it. That's what I'm hoping.
So what about stepping away from your region or your league to play Rich here tonight in Randolph?
We actually went to the UVU team camp down in the Provo area this summer, and we played Rich. I actually had to do some certification stuff for the PTSB, so I was not there the day we played Rich, but I was told we beat them. However, I'm from Idaho. This is my second year teaching here in Wyoming, and I didn't coach last year here, but I have heard of the dynasty that is Rich County Volleyball, and so I know that those kids, it's easy to win when you have a culture of winning, and when you've had those role models and you have, the wheels are all on and they're going the correct way, and I know that it'll be a tough match. I know that those kids are volleyball players, and where we're struggling with a few things in terms of leadership and such. It'll be interesting, and I only hope every night that we suit up to play that my kids are gonna show up and work hard and play hard in those moments that call for that check a little bit, and I know we're gonna have moments like that. So I'm excited for us to play. I don't want to play teams that aren't going to push us. We're a team that has to play teams that are going to push us, or we'll just play to the level of whoever's on the other side of the net.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining me, and good luck tonight against Rich.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lyman Lady Eagles head coach Brescia Hansen. This is the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show on the pregame show here at KADQ, and we're about 10 minutes from the start of tonight's matchup, and when we come back, we'll talk to Coach Cindy Stewart of the Lady Rebels. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy Way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Well, Coach, let's talk first about Thursday night's win over Manila. How did you feel about the win, 3-0 win over the Mustangs?
Oh, I loved it. It was good for us. We thought we played good. We had fun. Kimmy Lamborn got 22 kills, and Ellen Peart had 18 digs, which is a real good strategy for other teams to go at your setter. And she dug the ball, and that was really, really good. And Reagan Lloyd had 16 points. And we passed really well. Cammie had 69% perfect passing, so I thought we played really well. They put up a good block, which was good for us to get to see and to go around and get used to covering it. I thought we covered it really well. She blocked us, but we covered it. You know, we dug it back up, so that was good.
Yeah, big number 13, Rebecca Collett. She made it hard for you guys. I noticed that you had to change strategies a little bit because she got up there and made a few blocks.
Well, I think we swung away at her, and then we could just come back with a tip. Her block was a lot better than their floor defense.
Did that make it tough a little bit on Peart? I noticed that a few of her hits went long. Was she trying to hit over, or was she just mistiming things?
I think her problem tonight, well, she's been so solid on the hitting, but tonight I think her sets were a little low and she was coming fast, and she does, you know, she's a small girl, and so I think that her and the setter were off a little.
How did you feel about Manila? I know you've mentioned to me you've done a lot of work trying to get other teams in your region to improve and be better and more solid programs. How do you feel about their performance on Thursday?
I was thrilled. I'm so glad to see them. They're going to upset some teams. They're going to do well at state. They've got some good solid. If they could pass a little better, and maybe they didn't pass so well because we serve so good, but they're really a good solid little team for our region.
And looking ahead, you've got Lyman here tonight, another home match. Seems like you're getting a lot of home matches lately, but what do you know about Lyman?
Well, Lyman beat us twice at a tournament this summer. Years past, Lyman was really, really good. We always had just barn-burning battles, you know. And then they kind of went down a little bit, so we took them off our schedule. But now we met up with them, and I knew one of the former assistant coach kind of hooked up with me again, so we put them back on our schedule. And like I say, they beat us twice, so this should be one of our good home matches. We don't get many great home matches, but this should be a great home match.
Do you see a lot of, I mean, in the teams or the girls that are participating in the summer programs, are they really the same? It's the same team as is here in the fall for Lyman and for you guys?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We pretty much have to go on those team things to everyone else is playing club ball year round, so we try to get a lot of playing in the summer in those team camps and camps all over. So,
are there things as the season? I mean, you're maybe in about halfway through almost the season. Things that you are honing in on that the team needs to improve on.
No, we're just finally glad that this 6-2's working. It's doing good. We're real excited about it. I think that Ellen and Andy both do a great job setting, and that keeps Ellen in the swinging line-up. And of course she serves and plays such great defense. So and she's playing that right side setter defense super. And that's what a lot of strategy is. So that's going to really be a plus for us.
You mentioned the 6-2 is coming together. Are there things that have surprised you that the team has done well this season?
I think making that change, that was hard for us. We've never in 20, 30 years ever run anything but a 5-1. So that's been a hard mindset to accept and go with, you know, and the girls have. And Ellen being so fast, you know, she can play. She's in on every play. She's either digging it, hitting it, passing it, setting it, or, you know, serving it. So it's a great little athlete there that's taking a lot of balls and touching a lot of balls for us.
Well, it's sure a pleasure. It's fun for me to watch and be able to do this on the radio. So thank you.
Thank you. We love having y'all come.
This has been the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show. We're about 5 minutes away from tonight's opening serve, and we'll be back with the starting lineups and the beginning of tonight's matches. This is the pregame show. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at kadqradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big old tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. We're just a few minutes away from the opening serve of this one here tonight. And tonight's beginning serves of each set will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. Starting lineups coming up here in just a bit will be brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff, and our scoreboard sponsor tonight is You Win a Title. Tonight's tonight's match also brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. Now, in case you are unaware, there was a power outage that occurred this morning in Rich County and affected especially the town of Randolph. And that happened, I believe, what I've been told is right around 7:30 this morning. And the problem, as of this afternoon, just not too long ago, maybe about an hour ago, still had not been fixed. And they're expecting it's going to be quite the big fix. So instead of tonight's match being at Rich High School, they were forced to move the match over here to Rich Middle School in Laketown. So we drove a little bit of extra distance, and here we are at Rich Middle School, and it's a nice little venue. It's going to be crowded here tonight, I believe. We've got the bleachers pretty much packed here on disoriented. I believe this is going to be the east side of the gym. And we'll be, if you're watching online, it's KADQ FM 98.3. We're the camera at kadqradio.com. We're on the northeast side of the gym, so you're looking southwest. And so that's our vantage point here at Rich Middle School. We're going to have a full house here tonight. We got some fans coming over from Lyman. That's not too far of a drive for those Lyman Eagles fans. And, of course, the Rich County fans will be filling the seats as well. And I wouldn't be too surprised if once this thing gets underway, if we have students and fans lined up across the way along that brick wall. You can see across the other side of the gym if you're watching at kadqradio.com. Right now, the Lyman Lady Eagles finishing up their warm-up here, practicing their kill shots, if you will. And we're just a few minutes away from our starting lineups and the start of tonight's match. And I was told that once the JV match ended, they'd go 15 minutes and the varsity match would start. So we got things rolling in the pregame, and we got a little bit ahead of schedule, or maybe I was misinformed or something. But not a problem. We'll just keep it right here and give you a little bit more information about what's happened so far this season for both teams. If you heard Coach Brescia Hansen talk about her team, she feels confident about the way things are going. Now, she would like she said if she's going to be honest about her team, she hasn't had a leader or a senior really step out and take the lead as the senior leadership. But despite that, she feels good about the way her team is playing. They've played some tough teams, and they've played well. They've played hard, and they haven't rolled over in anything in any of those matches that they've played. They started the season off with a 2-0 victory against Torrington, and in a tournament that took place there in Lyman. They went 3-2 at that tournament with wins over Torrington. They beat Newcastle. They beat Warland, and then they lost to Wright and they also lost to Douglas, and then they lost a second time to Wright at that tournament as well. But they've also gone on and they lost to Jackson. They lost to Mountain View in a pretty good competitive match. And their most recent action was last week, the 12th of September. They played against Kemmerer and earned a 3-2 victory, 25-21, 25-23, losing sets 3 and 4, 25-23 and 25-22. But then they pulled out the victory in set 5, 15-13. Now they were also in action this last Thursday against Pinedale, and I don't have results for that match. But coming in to that match on Thursday against Pinedale, the Lady Eagles were 4 and 5, and according to Coach Brescia Hansen, playing well. She likes the way the team is coming together and likes the way that they are playing. As for the Rich Lady Rebels, Rebels coming in at 5 and 4 overall this season. And looking back on the years, it has been a number of years before since these two teams have played each other. Now, as Coach Stewart mentioned, Coach Cindy Stewart of the Lady Rebels, these two teams met up in a tournament at at Utah Valley University in Orem over the summer. And Lyman won both of those matches. So we'll have to see how the Lady Rebels come out and respond to that, having lost to Lyman over the summer. Rebels are coming in on a bit of a winning streak. They beat Manila this last Thursday 3-0. They beat Duchesne 3-0 last Friday, and then last Saturday. And the Thursday before that, they beat Bear Lake 3-0. After opening the season at that Cokeville tournament with a little bit of a struggle. The only win they got at that Cokeville tournament was against Mountain View. They lost twice to Evanston, lost to Alta, one of the biggest schools in Utah. They also lost to Rollins out of Wyoming. But recently they've met up against some teams that are inside the region that Coach Stewart will be the first to tell you are not extremely strong in volleyball. And that makes it tough to gauge just how these two teams are going to match up against each other. And another thing that makes it tough is that they haven't played any common opponents. You look up and down the schedule of who the Eagles have played, and the one exception is Mountain View. And the Lady Eagles lost to Mountain View 3-1. They lost 25-11. They won the second set 25-22. They lost the third and fourth sets 25-10 and 25-18. As for the Lady Rebels, they met up with Mountain View at that tournament in Cokeville and really took care of business, winning in 3 straight, 25-22, 25-15, and 25-16. So you can make that comparison, but when it comes down to it, the only real way to see what's going to happen is to get the two teams out on the court and let them match up, let them play against each other. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, the Rebels are out there warming up right now, finishing their warm-up routine. Up on the scoreboard clock, we're down under a minute for this portion of the warm-up, so we're not too far away from the start of tonight's match and our opening serve, which will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Rebel Lady Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3. And again, you can watch online at kadqradio.com. If you're just joining us, we'll tell you again the JV team from the JV teams that matched up, and the Lady Eagles won in 3, 25-11, 25-19, and 15-12. So the Lady Rebels kind of started off real slow, struggling early on, losing 25-11, but battled back. They improved and got much closer in the second and third sets, but just couldn't quite get over the hump to get the victory. Lady Rebels, again, after tonight, they have about a week off before they will host Tabiona next Friday. And that'll be next Friday night as part of homecoming festivities. And now what we're going to do next Friday, because we've got a football game here on KADQ, as the Rich Rebels host Monticello on Friday afternoon. Football game is scheduled for a 4 p.m. kickoff. The volleyball game, or volleyball match, is scheduled for a 7 p.m. first serve. And so what we're going to do is we'll bring you the football game. We'll wrap up our post game next Friday afternoon and rush into the gymnasium and bring you all the action of the volleyball match as well. So you can tune in next Friday for football and volleyball, Rich High Rebel football and volleyball next Friday afternoon, beginning at 3:20 with our pregame for the football, 4 p.m. kickoff, and then the volleyball. We'll just get over there as quick as we can and see what we get in as far as a pregame. and we'll bring you as much of the match action as we can against Tabiona. After that, looking ahead a little bit for the Rebel football team, it's at Kanab, so the long trip down to the southern end of the state. And a matchup at Kanab. We'll have it here on KADQ-FM. That's October 4th, and that'll be at 7 o'clock. So that's a night game for the Rebels on October 4th. That's looking 2 weeks ahead. Looking ahead to that week for the Lady Rebels, it's at Cokeville on Friday the 4th, and then Saturday the 5th at Altamont, and we'll have that match for you at Altamont. So we'll be on the road next 2 weeks from this weekend. Again, next week is homecoming. We'll have football Monticello and volleyball at Tabiona, and then the next weekend we'll have football on Friday night at Kanab and volleyball on Saturday afternoon at Altamont. That'll all be right here on KADQ-FM 98.3, and you can watch the games online live at KADQradio.com. If you're watching online right now, you see teams are serving back and forth to each other, and we're down to about 20 seconds left in the warm-up portion of this before the match gets underway. Rebels will be in their home blue, the black uniforms, and with the white trim, red or the blue Rebel across the chest. Lyman Lady Eagles looks like they'll be in the black shorts with white tops and blue sleeves. Similar color scheme, but the Lyman Lady Eagles in the road uniforms here tonight. Well, we're moments away from our starting lineup. Brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. We'll have the beginning serve coming up. Brought to you by the station in Randolph. And scoreboard sponsor for today's match is You Win a Title. Lady Rebels hosting the Lyman Lady Eagles. And again, we're here at Rich Middle School in Laketown, just right on the shores of Bear Lake, just about. And that power outage in Randolph forced the match to be moved up here to Rich Middle School. So we're just moments away. We're going to have starting lineups coming up here in just a bit. Brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. We've got a old-fashioned PA system here. We're going to have a little flag ceremony and a pledge of allegiance. So I'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the starting lineups for tonight's match right after this on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM at 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Starting lineups now brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And you see the starters coming out there for the Lyman Lady Eagles. Number 3, Alyssa Rasmussen, a 5'2" senior. Number 10, Lindy Blumel, a 5'7" junior. Number 13, Bailey Gross, a 5'8" junior. Number 25, Taylor Lamage, a 5'8" senior. 27, Michonne Blumel, a 5'9" senior. And the libero, number 31, Bailey Hallam, a 5'3" senior. For the Lady Rebels, you can see them coming out if you're watching online at KADQradio.com. You see them come out of the starting lineups, and we've got, for the Lady Rebels, it's number 10, Ellen Peart. Number 14 is Emily Hopkin. Number 4, Regan Lloyd. Number 3, Cammie Lamborn. Number 20, Lilia Brown. And number 25, Danielle Hefner. Lamborn, a senior. Lloyd, a junior. Peart, a senior. Hopkin, a sophomore, Lilia Brown, a sophomore, and Hefner, a senior. And we are just moments away from the opening serve. At the starting lineups tonight, brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And you hear the cheer go up as the teams get ready to go here. And the first set is just about ready to get underway. We'll have our beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. And if you're tuning in at kadqradio.com, you see the Rebels in all black with the white jersey, or the white numbers, white trim. And if you can see it well enough, there's the blue Rebel, word Rebel across the chest. Lyman Lady Eagles on the far left side. That's the south side of the gym. Lady Rebels on this north side. And the Rebels will be serving to start this one off. And we have Ellen Peart back to serve. You heard Coach Cindy Stewart mention what a specialist she is and what she just does about everything out on the floor. So athletic and so quick to get things done. Our beginning serve here in just a moment, brought to you by the station in Randolph, and today's broadcast also brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Here's the whistle, and here's Peart with the serve, going away from us to the back row. They push it up front, and the hit to the back row, and Brown passes it up front. Lloyd makes a nice effort to keep it alive, but Hefner can't get underneath it, and Lyman leads 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard to start this one off, as the Rebels couldn't get it over in 3 hits. Back to serve is Michonne Blumel to the back row. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd hits it over the top of the blockers. The pass goes back over the net, and the Rebels push it back over the top again. Now the Eagles set it up, hit down the line, blocked by the Rebels, and it's hits the floor on the Rebel side of the court. 2-0 Lady Eagles with the point there on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd passes up to Peart. Peart will set it up to the back row to Lamborn. Lamborn, big hit. It goes up high near the rafters, and the Eagles will set it up. Blocked by the Rebels, and the pass goes back over the top. Rebels will set it up here for Lloyd on this near side. Hit over, tipped by the blockers. The Eagles will keep it alive, but we're going to have 2 hits against the Eagles, and the Rebels are on the scoreboard, trailing 2-1 on the Uinta scoreboard, with Reagan Lloyd going back to serve for Rich High. Lloyd serves from this near side across the court to the far side. The Eagles set it up, and the serve, or the set, right into the net. Now the Rebels will set it up for Lamborn, and she'll hammer it home. Gets the kill, and we're tied at 2 on the Uinta scoreboard. So the Rebels get the big hit there as Lamborn up onto the front row. That's a good advantage for Rich High with Lamborn up there on the front. Get those big hits. Lloyd's serve goes to the back row, and the Eagles will set it up. Now the Rebels set it up for Lamborn, and this time, and we see the versatility. Instead of the power, she just tips it over, just pushes it over into a hole. Rebels get the point, and it's 3-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd again to serve from this near side, and goes to the back. The pass goes up into the net. Eagles can't control it, and it's a point for the Rebels, leading 4-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. They've scored 4 straight points after trailing 2-0. And Lloyd back to serve once again for Rich High. Lloyd's serve goes to the back. She's picking on that number 13. They'll set it up. The hit is blocked by the Rebels and blocked out of bounds, so the point will go to the Eagles, making it 4-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. Going back to serve now is number 10, Lindy Blumel. Blumel serves, just dives after it crosses the net. Peart will set it up for Lamborn, but it's way outside, and she'll just push it over the net, keep it in play. Now the hit is blocked clear up into the ceiling, and it hits the ceiling, comes down on the other side of the net, so that's a point for the Eagles. If it goes into the ceiling and it stays on the same side of the net, it's still a live ball. If it goes the other side of the net, it's a point for the other team. Here's the serve as we're tied at 4 on the Uinta scoreboard, but now 2 hits on the Rebels, and the Eagles regain the lead 5-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. First set here, Eagles leading by 1. It's been tied so far. As Blumel serves again, the Rebels let it go. They thought it was long. It's not on the line. It is on the line, I say. It's not long. And the Eagles now up by 2, 6-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. If you're watching online, you can see Blue Mel just off the screen, just out of the frame. The pass for the Rebels goes up into the net. Not a great pass, and it's a point for the Eagles, making it 7-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. Blue Mel just off the frame on KADQradio.com, and here comes the serve. Hefner passes. Peart comes over to try and set it up, and now Hefner will just hit it over the top of the net. Eagles will set it up. Here's a big hit, and right at Brown. Taylor Lamage, the senior, just hammers it home, and it's 8-4. Lady Eagles with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Blue Mel again back to serve. You see Coach Stewart here on the front of the frame if you're watching online at KADQradio.com. The pass by Hefner goes over the net, and now the Eagles will set it up again for Lamage. Nice dig by Lloyd. Peart dives to try and keep it alive, but they can't quite do it, and it's 9-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. And at this point, Coach Stewart knows she needs to take a quick timeout, settle the girls down. We'll take a quick one as well. It's 9-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels trailing. And you're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch online at KADQradio.com.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend, and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Blue Mel quickly back again to serve, and Rebels able to set something up, get a hit, and it's blocked out of bounds by the Eagles. So point to the Rich High Lady Rebels, making it 9-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. They get that side out coming out of the timeout, just what they were looking for. Hefner serves for the Rich High Rebels. Now they'll set it up again for Lamage. Her hit is long and just about takes out a couple of cheerleaders, just taking their spot back there on that backside, north side of the court. And so the point to the Rebels, it's 9-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. Hefner again to serve from the far side. She'll go to the back row. Lamage passes up front. Now they'll set it up for Lamage. She'll tip it over, and two Rebels diving to try and get there, Peart and Hefner, but neither of them can quite get there, and it's 10-6 Eagles with the point. And there's you see Lamborn with that excellent court vision. It appears that Lamage shares that same skill. Here's the set, and Lamborn gets the big hit, hammers it home. It's in on that back line, and it's 10-7. Point to the Rebels, and they trail by 3 on the Uinta scoreboard. And we'll have the opportunity to serve here. And Lilia Brown, no, Andy Cornea checks in to serve for the Rebels. Cornea to the back row, passed up front, and they'll set it up for the Eagles to just tip it over the top of the Lady Rebel blockers. Now they'll set it up for Peart. Off her back foot, she hits it hard, gets it to drop as the Eagles can't control it. And it's 10-8 on the Uinta scoreboard as the Rebels are clawing back into this one. They were down 9-4, but now down just 10-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Cornea serves to the back. Lamage passes. Not a great pass, but they're able to set it up. Here's the hit, and this one is long by number 13, Bailey Gross. And the point goes to the Rebels, so it's 10-9 now. The Lady Rebels down by 1 on the Uinta scoreboard. As Cornea will go back to serve again for Rich High. Andy Cornea, a freshman, getting some good significant varsity time on the floor. Here's her serve. Pass up front, they'll set it, and the hit blocked by the Lady Rebels. 3 blockers there. Now again hit by Gross. Rebels will set it up, just barely able to keep under control. No, we're going to have 2 hits, and the side out will go to the Lady Eagles. It's 11-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rich High trailing by 2. And back to serve is the libero Bailey Hallam, who's wearing number 34 tonight, I see. Tip over the net by Peart for the Rebels, and now we have 2 hits by the Eagles. So a point will go to the Rebels, and it's 11-10. Back to within 1 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Lamborn will go back to serve. Good, strong jump serve to the back row. They'll pass up front. Here's the set, and the hit by Hallam by Gross rather, just in on that back line, and it's 12-10. Lady Eagles lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Back to serve goes number 3, Alyssa Rasmussen. Rebels will set it up, and Peart will push it over the top. Not able to get a good pass up front, so they'll just push it over the top. And now diving effort by the Rebels to keep it alive and push it back over. Eagles will set it up, and hit for Gross is in here on this near side. She hits it from the far side to the near side across the court and gets the point, gets the kill, and it's 13-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels trailing by 3. Back to serve goes Rasmussen again. Lamborn lets it go, and I didn't see. They do say it was long. Yes. So the Rebels get the point and trail by 2, 13-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. The Eagles thought it was in, and Rasmussen was getting ready to serve again. The official blows the whistle and says, send the ball this way. It's the Rebels serve. And Brown goes back to serve. Beautiful serve, just clears the net. Pass goes back over the net. Rebels, oh my goodness, they tipped it back over the top on a diving effort by Gross. Gets it back over the net and somehow finds a hole in the Rebel defense. And it's 14-11, a point to the Eagles on the Uinta scoreboard as Gross goes back to serve. Brown sets it up, or passes. Here's the hit, the hit by Peart, and a big hit. She hammers it home. It's 14-12. Point to the Rebels, and they trail by 2 on the Uinta scoreboard. And now Peart will go back to serve. She served to start this match out, so we've made the rotation. Her serve goes to the back row. Pass up front. Good pass. Now they'll set it up. Lamage, the big hit, but it's long. And so it'll be 14. We'll give the point to the Eagles. Must have been tipped by the Rebels. It's 15-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's the serve. Back row. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set it for Hefner. Hefner the hit. Passed back up front by the Eagles. Lamage backing up. Tries to hit it and misplays it. Rebels back to within 2. 15-13 on the Uinta scoreboard. First set here in the JV match. Lady Eagles 1 3 straight. We're here in the first set of the varsity match. It's 15-13 with Lloyd the service. Eagles set it up. They push it over the top. Now Peart sets it up high at the net. Lamborn pushes over the top, and it falls on the Eagles side of the net. Lamborn gets up high to push that over and get it to squeeze between the blockers and the net, and it's 15-14. Rebels trailing on the Uinta scoreboard. And now a beautiful serve by Lloyd down the line. She gets the ace, and we're tied at 15. Eagles just let that one go. They thought it was going to be out of bounds. She goes back to that back row again to Lamage. Now they'll set it up for Lamage, who will push it over. Nice effort. Peart goes to her knees. They'll set it up for Lamborn, who pushes to the back corner. Eagles are there. They'll set it up for Lamage, coming back on her back feet. Now Lamborn will get the set, and it's blocked, but out of bounds. Rasmussen, or Lamage rather, got up there to block, but blocked it out of bounds, and the Rebels retake the lead for the first time since they led 4-3. Lloyd again to serve, goes to the back corner. Lamage passes up front. They'll set it up for Lamage, and she'll just punch it over the top. Peart will pass it up to the near side. Lamborn pushes it into a hole, finds that gap in the defense, and it's 17-15. Rebels leading on the Uinta scoreboard. You can see the excitement out of the Rebels if you're watching at KADQradio.com as we got a timeout, and the Rebels up by 2. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. 859-5608. Save your precious time.
Lloyd back again to serve for the Rebels on a 5-0 run. The Eagles set it up, and the Rebels can't keep it alive as the Lamage hits it, just powers it through the blockers. And that 5-0 run comes to a halt as the Eagles get the point and make it 17-16 on the Unitado scoreboard. Back to serve goes number 10, Lindy Blumel. Rebels will pass it up. Now Peart will set it for Lamborn, blocked, but again blocked out of bounds. She's just hammering it right at Tessa Dennis. Dennis has those hands turned toward the outside of the court, and the point goes to the Rebels, leading 18-16 on the Unitado scoreboard. And Hefner back to serve for Rich High. Hefner from the far side, just off the frame at KADQRadio.com online. The Eagles will set it up. Big hit by Lamage, blocked by Rich High, but blocked into the rafters and then just deflected into the stands, into the bleachers, and it's 18-17. Rebels up by just one on the Unitado scoreboard. You see in that back corner, Lamage to serve, goes to Lloyd. Lloyd passes up front. Peart sets it up for Lamborn outside the antenna, and in an effort to just get it over the net, hits the antenna. We're tied at 18 on the Unitado scoreboard, and that serve just a bit outside. Taylor Lamage back to serve again, goes back row. Lamborn passes up front for Peart. Peart sets it up. Big hit by Lamborn, blocked, and once again, it's Dennis blocking it out of bounds. So the point goes to the Rebels, leading 19-18 on the Unitado scoreboard. I'm sure her coach is over there talking to her. Get those hands turned inside. As long as she doesn't, though, we're going to get some more points. Cornea, the serve down the line. Eagles have a little bit of trouble with it, but they're able to set it up back row for Lamage. Now the Rebels will set it up. Pass it to the middle. Big hit by Lamborn. She hammers it into the corner, and the Rebels lead 20-18 on the Unitado scoreboard. Rebels went on a 5-0 run. They trailed 15-12. Took the lead with that 5-0 run, and now they're up by 2. Here's Cornea to serve again. Goes to the back and finds that seam between Blumel and Lamage, I believe, back there. Point to the Rebels, and it's 21-18 on the Unitado scoreboard. And this one, a tight match so far all the way through. Cornea to serve once again for the Rebels. Goes to the back row down the line. They'll set it up, and here's the big hit, hammered home by Bailey Gross. Point to the Eagles, and it's 21-19. That's what a good pass will do for you right there. They got that good pass up front. Nice set and the big hit. Now back to serve is the libero, Bailey Hallam. Rebels have a tough time with getting the pass, and it's passed into the Rebel bench. Point to the Eagles. It's 21-20 on the Unitado scoreboard. First set here at Ricks Middle School. Now the serve by Hallam into the net. An unforced error by the Eagles, and the Rebels within 3 as Cammie Lamborn goes back to set, leading 22-20 on the Unitado scoreboard. Good strong set. They'll pass it up front, or good strong serve, and the Eagles push it over the top. Now the Rebels set it up for Peart, blocked, and up front is the senior Michonne Blumel. She's got those hands turned the right way. It's blocked right back to the floor on the Rebel side of the net, and it's 22-21 on the Unitado scoreboard. Lamborn passes. Now Peart will just push it over the top, and the Eagles will try to set it up. Here's the hit for Blumel. She just tips it, and the Rebels will set it up for Peart here on this near side. Blocked again. Lamborn dives, keeps it alive. Eagles will set it up again and mistime the jump, so the Rebels will have a good opportunity here. They'll set it up for Peart. Peart blocks there. He hammers it down the line. It rolls off the top of the net, and now the Eagles called a violation of 2 hits, and it's 23-22 on the Unitado scoreboard. Rebels within 2. Knocking on the door of a first set victory against the Lyman Lady Eagles. Rebels will send Lamborn back to serve, leading by 2 on the Unitado scoreboard. And some confusion on the floor as shouldn't be. Looks like Brown will go back to serve for the Rebels. Lamborn was confused on the rotation a little bit. Here's the serve. Good jump serve down the line. Hits off the rafters and back to the floor quickly. And the Rebels lead 24-21 on the Unitado scoreboard. It's a set point here for the Rebels as Brown lines up to serve again. Strong jump serve, hard into the corner. It's in on the line. It's an ace, and the Rebels win 25-21 in set number 1 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Rebels get the victory. That's the end of set number 1 and the action of set number 1. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at kadqradio.com. Again, the Rebels get the win 25-21 on the Uinetado scoreboard in set number 1.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. Rebels take set 1, 25-21 on the Uinetado scoreboard, and boy, it was tight early on. Rebels went on a 4-0 run after trailing 2-0, but went on that 4-0 run. They tied it at 4. Then the Eagles went on a 4-0 run, made it 9-4, and the Eagles kind of held that lead until the Rebels pushed back into it, went on a 5-0 run to take a 17-15 lead, and led the rest of the way. Turned it on strong there at the very end to extend the lead and win by 4, 25-21 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And a good crowd here. Where the game has the match moves here to Rich Middle School because of that power outage at Rich High School and in Randolph. And you get some fans from Lyman in here to not, as far as bleachers go for a high school match, it's a small set of bleachers. But it's doing the job right now. You do have some fans scattered around the floor in the corners and on the sides and in the back. You see the Rebels. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, you see the student section on that far south end of the court. And the cheerleaders down there. Teams back out on the floor. And the Lyman Lady Eagles will serve to start this second set. Again, Rebels got the win in set number 1, 25-21 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And back to serve, I think, is Alyssa Rasmussen, a senior. No, that's 13. She did look a little taller than Rasmussen. That's Bailey Gross back here to serve from this near side. Rebels ready. Here we go. We got the whistle, and Gross serves into the net. So the Rebels lead 1-0 on the Uinetado scoreboard to start off set number 2. An immediate substitution as Corney will check out and Hopkins checks in to get that height on the front row. Peart the serve and to the back row, a pass up front, nice pass, and now the set for Lamage, blocked, but blocked up high. She just powers it through those blockers, and we're tied at 1 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And as good as Lamborn is for the Rebels, with those power kills, Lamage is just about equal for the Lyman Lady Eagles. Rebels will set it up. Peart for Lloyd here on this near side, and Lloyd a bit over the top, hits it into the net on the far side over there. And it's 2-1. Eagles with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Lamborn goes down. Now Peart tips it over the top for the Rebels. Eagles push it back over, and the Rebels will set it up. Peart sets it for Lloyd on the far side. Tipped and blocked partially by the Lady Eagles. Out of bounds, and see Coach Hansen over here trying to give some kind of motion or communicate with the official. And whatever she was saying apparently worked, because they give the serve back to the Eagles. And they'll go over the top. Here's the set. Rebels will set it up, and a hit by Hefner is tipped at the line, or at the net, but tipped to the floor, so the Rebels will get it back, trailing 3-2 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Back to serve goes Reagan Lloyd. She was serving in the first set when Rich High went on that 5-0 run. The Eagles will set it up now, though, and a big hit by Tessa Dennis. Partially blocked by the Rebels, and then it finds the floor, and the Eagles lead 4-2 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Back to serve is Lindy Blumel. Blumel, high arching serve to Hefner in the back row. Peart will set it up for Lamborn. Big hit, blocked right back, but Brown is there. Now they'll set it up again for Lamborn, who hits it into the net, a little bit over the top of it, and it's 5-2. Lady Eagles leading on the Uinetado scoreboard. And back to serve again is Blumel, the junior. Serves long and high to the back row, and Hefner unable to get in position to make a good play on it. Hits it to the back wall, and it's 6-2 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Lady Eagles pushing the lead out to 4 now. Blumel again to serve. Serves to Lloyd on the back row. Pass up front. Peart will set it up for Lamborn, who just pushes it over the blockers. Can't quite find it, but a diving effort by Gross sends it back over the net out of bounds. So the point to the Rebels, and it's 6-3 on the Uinetado scoreboard, and Hefner will go back to serve. Peterson checks in onto the front row to get that height back up there. Christina Peterson in there. Here's the serve by Hefner to the far side. They'll pass it up front, and the hit by Rasmussen, not real powerful. So the Rebels will set it up, and Lamborn moving away from us here, hammers it in, and it's a point to the Rebels, 6-4, trailing on the Uinetado scoreboard. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, you saw what an athletic play that was by Lamborn. Just kind of drifting to her left, hammers it back to her right, and gets the kill. Here's the serve set up for Lamage, who hits it into the net. She's coming clear from the back row. Came in a little bit late. Oh, no, she got it in there. Just got it over the net, in between the blockers and the net, and it's a point for the Eagles. And my eyes tricked me there. Lamage back to serve now. The Rebels, Peart will just push it over the net across down the line, and now the Eagles will pass it over the top. Now the Hopkin will set it up far side for Peart. Big hit. No, that's Lamborn with the hammer home, and it's 7-5. Lamborn gets the kill, and the Rebels trail 7-5 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And Cornea will go back to serve for the Rebels. Cornea from this near side there on that far side of the court, on that south end. Eagles will set it up. A big hit by Gross. Rebels can't handle it, and it's 8-5. Eagles with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well, and we'll be right back. Lady Rebels trailing 8-5 on the Uinetado scoreboard. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM and online at kadqradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big old tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM and 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. Back to serve goes Bailey Hallam. The Rebels will pass it up front. Big hit by Lamborn on that far line, just out. Making it 9-5 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Lady Eagles with the lead. And Lamborn trying to go around those defenders. Lloyd just diving to keep it alive, and a tip, and then into the net. Rebels can't return the serve, and it's 10-5 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Here's Hallam again. Serve to Peart. Peart will pass it up. Now they'll set it back for Peart. A big hit to this near side. Nice effort by the Eagles to keep it alive, and they'll just tap it over the top. Now Rebels struggling to get it back, and just little tips here and there, and they tip it into their own bench, giving the Eagles an 11-5 lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Hallam again. Lloyd passes up front. Cornea set for Peart. Hit, blocked. Blumel is there. Blocks it right back in the Eagles' throats, and it's the Rebels, rather. And it's 12-5 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Eagles on a 5-0 run here as Lloyd, and a great effort by the Rebels, can't quite get it over. Rebels having a hard time with that pass, and that is just making all the difference right now. They can't get that initial pass, that initial serve receive working for them. Now they get a good one. Lloyd passes, set it up for Peart. Peart tips it over. Eagles keep it alive, and they'll hit it over the top. Rebels diving, and Lloyd dives, can't get to it. And a point again to the Eagles. And it's 14-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. A 7-0 run and counting for the Eagles as Hallam goes back to serve again. Lloyd's pass goes right into the net. Cornea comes over, sets it up for Peart, and blocked again. And the Rebels struggling right now, trailing 15-5 on the Uinta scoreboard with Hallam back serving. They've scored 8 straight and counting. This one just barely clears the net. Peterson, and not controlled again by the Rebels. Suddenly it's 16-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. And the Rebels really having a hard time with Hallam back here serving. Hallam, a back row. Lamborn passes up front. Now Peart pushes it over the blockers, and the defense is there. Rebels try this, or the Eagles try the same thing. Rebels tip it back. Now they'll set it up. Big hit, hammered home by Michon Blumel. Rebel blockers were there, and it's deflected and to the floor. 17-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. A 10-0 run by the Eagles. And Rebels trailing. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
17-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. The Lady Eagles on a 10-0 run and counting with, it's all been with Bailey Hallam, the libero, a 5'3" senior back there serving for Lyman. Her serve this time goes to Lloyd on the back row. Pass up front, good pass. Now Lamborn comes up from the back row and hammers it down. And that ends the run, makes it 17-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels got the win in set one, 25-21. They need a big run here to get back into it. Lamborn serve, skips across the top of the net. Eagles trying to keep it alive as Gross comes here into her own bench to try and tip that one back up and can't control it, and it's 17-7. Rebels trailing on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Lamborn again to serve. Serve long. Just gets underneath it a bit much, and it's 18-7 rather on the Uinta scoreboard, and that'll send number 3 Alyssa Rasmussen, the senior, back to the back row to serve. Rebels will set it up for Lloyd, and it's the set is way outside, and Lloyd can't keep it inside that antenna as she gets it over the net. So it's 19-7 Eagles. Lloyd's pass up front right at the net. Cornea tries to tip it over, but boy, that height advantage for Michon Blumel, listed at 5'9", just tips it right back over the top, and it's 20-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's the set for Lloyd. She hits it over the top. Eagles will set it up now here to this near side. Rebels able to control it. They'll set it up for Lloyd. Again, the hit over the blockers. Can't get a lot of power on it to get it over the top of them. Lamage the hit, and the Rebels are able to be there and set it up. Lloyd now just tips it over the top. A fourth hit by Peart is what it takes to get it over the net, and that's a point for the Lady Eagles, leading 21-7 on the Uinta scoreboard here in set number 2. Rebels took set 1, but the Rebels having a hard time here in set 2. Eagles will set it up and hit it to the back row. Cornea is there, but her hit goes into the back wall. Lamborn dives into the wall, trying to get there, but can't get to it in time, and it's 22-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rasmussen again back to serve. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea the set outside to Lloyd. Good hit inside the blockers, but the Eagles are there. Now they'll set it up. 2 hits by Peterson, but the first one was a tip on the block, so the Rebels keep it alive. Now the tip over the net and into a hole by Lindy Blumel, and the point will go to the Eagles, and it's 23-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels trailing. Here's the set, or the serve. Rebels will set it up, and not a great pass, so they'll just have to hit it over the net as the Eagles will set it back up. Here's the hit, and no problem. Michon Blumel hammers it home. and it's set point 24-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. And this set number 2, almost basically a wash for the Rebels. They'll set it up for Lloyd here on the outside. Her hit is long, and the Eagles get the win 25-7 on the Uinta scoreboard in set number 2. Rebels took set 1 25-21, lose set 2 25-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Set 3 coming up. Stay tuned. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Rebels really struggled in that second set. After winning set number 1, 25-22, maybe it's the south side of the court. We'll have to see as they move back to the north side of the court here for set 3. But it was close, 7-5. The Rebels trailed early in that set, but from that point, the Lyman Lady Eagles went on a 18-2 run to get that victory in set number 2. 18-2. That's almost unheard of, especially against a team like the Rebels. But that was done, and the Eagles really just turned it on there in that second set. Well, today's broadcast brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. And the beginning serve here of set number 3 brought to you by the station in Randolph. It's Ellen Peart who will serve for the Rebels, and we'll see if they can pull it back together here for this third set. They really struggled in set number 2, again losing 25-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. That after winning set 1, 25-21. Here's Peart with the serve, goes to the back row, past Lamage now, gets the set up front, and blocked by Hefner right back down to the floor. And that's a good way to start for the Rebels, leading 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart will go back to serve again, and she'll serve to that back row. And boy, not a good pass, but the Eagles do control it enough to get it over the net. Hefner will pass it. Now Peart will set for Lloyd. Lloyd hits it through the blockers. The two of them, Lindy Blumel and Mashawn Blumel, not close enough to each other. Lloyd takes advantage of it, hits it right between the two of them, and the Rebels lead 2-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart again the serve. Back row, the pass up front, right in the net, but they'll set it up for Lamage. A diving effort by Brown, and they keep it alive. Lloyd hits it over the top. Now Peart is there, and they'll set it up for Lloyd here on this near side. Pushes it over the line, and the Rebels will keep it alive. Eagles punch it back over. Now the Rebels down the line. Lloyd hits it over, and the Eagles will set it up. She'll push it over the top. Now Peart coming out of bounds to keep it alive, and Lloyd will push it over. Eagles will try to pass. They'll set it up to that far side, and a big hit into the net, but the Rebels will keep it, and the hit by the Eagles over the line on the backside, out of bounds. They got an extra play on that one. It looked like they hit it into the net, bounced right back to them, and they kept playing it. But it goes out of bounds on the hit, and the Rebels get the point, leading 3-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Served by Peart. The hit by Lamage is long, and Rebels leading 4-0 on the Uinta scoreboard after that hit. Peart to serve again. Good strong serve to the back row. The pass up front, real close to the net. They'll set it up, and the Rebels, the pass goes right back over, and a big heads-up play by, I believe that was Blumel, to just hit it right back over the top and just tap it down the line, and it's 4-1. Eagles get the point, and on the Uinta scoreboard, that serve just clears the net. What a serve. And Brown can't get underneath it enough to control it. It's 4-2 on the Uinta scoreboard as The Blumel, Smashon goes back to serve again. Lamborn passes up front. Peart sets it up for Lloyd, who pushes it down the line over the blockers, and they'll set it up. The Eagles will control it. Now the Rebels hit it into the corner, and what a heads-up play by Hopkin. She saw the hole out there in the corner, the far southwest corner of the gym. She found it, and it's 5-2. Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard as Lloyd comes up to serve for Rich High. Straight away from the back here on this right side, if you're watching online at kadqradio.com. Not a great pass, and the Eagles able to get it over the top. Now Peart will set it up for Lamborn, pushing it down the line, trying to find the corner. Not there, but Lamborn goes right back up as Blumel tries to tip it over, and Lamborn blocks it right back to the floor. And it's 6-2 Rebels on the Uinta scoreboard with new life so far in this third set from what we saw in set number 2. The serve by Lloyd, though, is out of bounds, and it's 6-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. Point goes to the Eagles, and a side out. They'll have the serve now, and Lindy Blumel will go back to serve. She'll serve. Lloyd is there. Lloyd passes up front. Peart will set for Lamborn, whose hit is into the net and may have been blocked as well. 2 blockers right there, and it's 6-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels rather, ahead by 2. Here's the pass by Hefner, set for Lamborn, and she'll find that hole in the defense. Just pushes it over the top, aside, just inside the blockers, making it 7-4 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels with the lead, and Danielle Hefner goes back to serve. Peterson in to give some height to that front row for the Rebels. And Hefner's serve. The pass goes right up toward the net. Now they'll set it up for Lamage, and it's blocked, but the Rebels can't keep it alive, and a carry against Rich High makes it 7-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels with 7 points. Eagles with 5 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Lamage goes back to serve. Lamborn's pass right into the net, up high, actually high enough that Dennis can just go up, tip it down. Dennis with some height, 5'10", and the junior takes advantage of that mistake, making it 7-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. Served by Lamage into the net, and the Rebels will get it back, leading 8-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. And we'll have Cornea check in, and she'll go back to serve for the Rebels. Cornea serves across court, goes back row to Lamage. The pass goes over the net. Now the Rebels will set it up. Cornea for Lamborn here, pushing it toward the corner. Not there, as the Eagle defense was there. Now they'll get it over the top. Rebels will set it back up. Lamborn for Peart here on this near side. Hammers it. Blocked out of bounds by the Eagles, and it's 9-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. And that's one of those where Peart, hoping she could just hammer it through, she powers it past the blockers and to the floor. Cornea to serve again down the line, and just out. Serving from the far side of the court, closer to this near side, and it's just off the mark. So the point goes to the Eagles, and Hallam goes back to serve. This is who really gave the Rebels trouble in that second set. Peart hits it over. The Eagles set it up and tip it back over. Now Cornea sets it up for Lamborn. Big hit. Hits the ceiling on the pass, and it's to the floor. Rebels will get the point, 10-7. Hallam served 10 straight points for the Eagles in that second set. This time, Rebels get the side out real quick. Lamborn back to serve now. Goes to the back row. Pass up front. The set for Blumel. Now the Rebels are there. They'll set it up for Peart near side. Diving effort by the Eagles after the tip. And now the ball up high in the net. Blumel goes up high, tips it down to the floor. Point to the Eagles. It's 10-8. Rebels with the 2-point lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's the serve. Peterson passes up front, right in the net, and the Rebels just will have to hit it over the top, but it hits the speakers right up, straight above the net. Back to the floor, and it's 10-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebel lead cut to 1. Lloyd and Lamborn both backed off. I don't know if they both thought it was going to be long or if they thought the other was going to take it. It's inbounds, and it's a point to the Eagles, who tie it up at 10. Now Lamborn and Peterson, again, miscommunication. They're kind of fighting for it. Neither one hits it well. It's out of bounds, and it's 11-10. Eagles take their first lead of this set number 3, 11-10 on the Uinta scoreboard as Rasmussen back to serve. Now the pass up front. Good pass this time by the Rebels. Set it up for Peart. Big hit to the corner. It's in. We're tied at 11 on the Uinta scoreboard. And that's just what the Rebels needed. You get that good pass, and that sets everything else up for a good set and the big hit by Ellen Peart. Lilia Brown in to serve now for Rich High, and the serve, boy, she's trying to get everything she could into that one and got a little too much. It's long, and it's 12-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. Eagles back on top with Gross back to serve. Her serve, high, arching serve. Rebels will pass it up front, set for Lloyd, who pushes it across. Eagles able to just push it back over. Lamborn will pass up. Cornea, here's the set to this near side for Peart, and she'll hit it. Just not a lot of power, but she taps it between the blockers. She saw the two of them were just too far apart from each other, and she squozed the ball in between them, found the floor, and we're tied at 12. Now Peart back to serve. Serves it down the line. Eagles will set it up. Lamage, the big hit. She hammers it down the line. Finds the floor inside the lines, and the Eagles retake the lead 13-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. Back to serve will go Mashawn Blumel, number 27. Blumel's serve. Dives at the net. Lamborn dives to keep it off the floor, but she hits it over the net and out of bounds. Eagles let it go, and they lead 14-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. Blumel will go back to serve again. This time her serve is a bit longer. Lamborn passes up front to Peart. Peart to Lloyd. Lloyd's hit blocked, and the Eagles keep it alive. Punch it back over the top. Lamborn passes up front. Peart, Lloyd at the net. Big hit! Hit by the Eagles and to the wall. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, you saw that deflection right over there by the official, and that was just too much power for the Eagles to handle. Nice hit by Lloyd, who now will go back to serve. Serve to the back row to Lamage. The serve, or the pass right back at the net. Hefner's there. She tips it back down to the floor, and we're tied at 14 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels got in a little bit of a hole down by 2, but they battled back. Served by Lloyd over the net. Now they'll set it up for Lamage. Big hit blocked by Rich High. Diving effort, and the Eagles keep it alive. What an effort. Lloyd passes up front. Now Peart to Lamborn. Hammers it into the net. Partially blocked by the Eagles. Out of bounds. And the Rebels will get the point and retake the lead. 15-14 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd back to serve again for the Rebels. Going to that far side, and for Lamage. They'll set it up here to this near side. Blocked by Lamborn, and Hefner are there. The hit attempt by Lindy Blumel right into the outstretched arms of Lamborn and Hefner. And it's 16-14. Eagles will set it up for Lamage. Tipped by Hefner. She tries to turn around and keep it in the air, but she can't quite control it. And it's 16-15. Rebels with the 1-point lead on the Uinta scoreboard. And Lindy Blumel will go back to serve. Blumel serves. Hefner will pass it up high to the front. And a set for Lamborn, who has it blocked. They'll set it up to Lamborn again. The Eagles keep it alive. It's right out of play, or out of bounds, but they'll keep it in play and keep it alive. Now the Rebels will set it up again for Lamborn. Hammers it into the blockers. It's kind of hanging up there for a second. Rasmussen tries to tip it, and she tips it out of bounds. And the Rebels lead 17-15 on the Uinta scoreboard, with Hefner going back to serve for the Rich High Rebels. Lady Rebels with the 2-point lead here in set number 3. We're tied at 1 set apiece. Eagles will set it up for Lamage. Big hit. Rebels can't handle it. She's that big hitter for the Lady Eagles. And she hammered that one right at Lloyd, who couldn't control it, and it's 17-16. Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Lamage back to serve now. And she'll go back to Lloyd. Lloyd pass up front is low, but Peart able to get underneath it. Nice set for Lamborn, who hammers it home. And it's 18-16. Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Now Cornea will check back in. We had Hopkin in there for that height on the front row. On the front row now is what you want. You've got Lamborn and Peart and Peterson on that front row. Good hitting power. Served by Cornea. And the Eagles get it back over the top. Now Cornea will set it up for Peart, who pushes it down the line and finds the floor. A diving effort by Lamage to keep it alive, but she can't get there in time. And it's 19-16, Rebels up by 3 on the Winnetano scoreboard. Cornea, a serve to the back row. They'll set it up. Not a great set, or not a great pass initially. Now the Rebels struggling, but they will get it over. Yes, Cornea, nice job on that third hit to get it over the top of the net. Big hit by Gross, but the Rebels are able to keep it alive and get it back over the net in 3. Same problem for the Eagles. Not a great pass up front. Now the Rebels get a good pass. Big hit by Lamborn. It's tipped and lost to the back wall, 20-6. The Rebels get the point, and they lead 20-16 rather on the Uinetado scoreboard. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3, and you can watch online at kadqradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. The Rebels leading 20-16 on the Uinetado scoreboard here in set number 3. Rebels won the first set 25-21, lost the second set 25-7, but they lead here 20-16 in set number 3 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Cornea serving, goes to the back row. Hallam passes up front. Here's the set. Good hit by the Eagles, but the Rebels are there. Now Lamborn will set it up for Peart. Peart just taps it over the top, and then the Eagles will set it up, and the two miscommunication between Bailey Gross and Tessa Dennis, neither of them hit it, and it's 21-16. Rebels with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Cornea served to the back. Lamage tries to play it. A diving effort. Number 3, Alyssa Rasmussen back there, and she hits it off the back wall, making it 22-16 Rebels with the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Cornea again to serve. Her serve is going to be down to the corner. Lamage keeps it alive, and what placement by Cornea with that serve. Now Cornea will pass to Lamborn, who sets a back serve for Peart, hits it over to the back row. Eagles will set it up. The hit by Dennis is long, and the Rebels are knocking on the door, leading 23-16 here in set 3. What a contrast from set number 2 when they lost 25-7. Here's Cornea, the serve. Back row to Lamage. Lamage pass right in the net. Now they'll set it up. Lamborn reaches over, tips it down, and the Rebels will get the point. And it's set point 24-16 on the Uinetado scoreboard as Cornea goes back to serve again. Cornea. Here's the serve. Back row to Hallam. Hallam's pass up front. She'll set it up, and Gross was there. Now the Rebels set it up for Peart, who just tips it over the top, off balance, finds the floor, and the Rebels win 25-16 in set number 3 on the Uinetado scoreboard, and the Rebels lead now 2-1 in this match. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM and online at KADQradio.com. If you're watching online, you see the cheerleaders down there right in front of the student section on that far side of the gym. Rich Rebel students getting pumped up for homecoming next week. And we'll have football and volleyball on Friday afternoon and evening right here on 98.3 FM, KADQ. And football kickoff is scheduled for 4. Volleyball is scheduled to have the opening serve at 7 o'clock. So we'll bring you the football with pregame hosting Monticello. Pregame will be at 3:20. Kickoff at 4. And then the Lady Rebels host Tabiona with the varsity scheduled for 7 o'clock. So as soon as we get done with football, we'll hurry into the gym and try to get you as much of the volleyball as we can. Well, here at Rich Middle School, the Lady Rebels leading 2-1 on the Uinetado scoreboard. They won a close one in set 1, 25-21. They were blown out, frankly, in set number 2, 25-7. The Eagles went on an 18-2 run to close that set out. In set number 3, the Rebels bounced back and somehow completely turned the tides. It was like a different team out there and won 25-16 and now lead 2-1 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And we'll just have to see what happens here in set number 4. So far, the north side of the court has been the lucky side, or has been the good side. And we'll have to see what happens as the Rebels are now on that south side. Here's the set, the serve. The Rebels set it up and get it back over the top. Now Lamage, the big hit. Rebels can't control it. Nice effort by Brown to try and keep it alive, but the Eagles up 1-0 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And Bailey Gross will go back to serve again for the Lady Eagles. Back row, Lamborn will pass it up front. Cornea sets it up for Peart. Peart hits down the line. Eagles have a little trouble controlling it. Not a good pass, but they will get it back over in 3. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it near side for Lloyd, and a great effort by the Eagles to keep it alive, and they will get it back over the net. Nothing set up, but they get it over. Now Cornea will set it up for Peart. Peart hit, blocked by Blumel. And the Eagles lead 2-0 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Set number 4, Lady Rebels leading 2-1 in the match. Lamborn's pass right up at the net. Not a good pass. And Blumel just makes sure it goes right back down to the floor on the Rebel side of the court. And it's 3-0. Lady Eagles. Here's the serve. This one a high arching serve, and the Rebels have a little trouble with it. But hit by Blumel goes back over the top, and the Rebels will set it up for Peart. Peart trying to find a hole. Lamage is there. Now they'll set it up for Lamage, going off her back foot. Lamborn will pass it up front. Cornea, a long set for Peart, who hits it over the top. Now the Eagles will set it up for Lamage, blocked by Hefner. Hefner, the only blocker over there, and the only one the Rebels needed on that play. What an effort by Hefner. Great block, and it's 3-1 on the Uinetado scoreboard as the Rebels get the side out, and now we'll have the serve. Peart will go back to serve, coming right toward us, left to right, if you're watching at KADQradio.com. Big set, nice pass, and boy, Lamage hammers that one down, and it's 4-1. Eagles with the point and the 4-1 lead on the Uinetado scoreboard. Boy, she hammered that down across court. Here's Blumel to serve. Goes to the back row. Lamborn passes up front. Peart now will set it up for Lloyd outside. The set is, or the hit over the top is right in the net. Now the Rebels will get it back over. Lloyd hits it over. Lamage passes right into the net. The Eagles can't control it. Can't get it back over the top, and it's 4-2. Rebels trailing by 2 on the Uinetado scoreboard as Lloyd goes back to serve. And this is a good rotation spot for the Lady Rebels. Pass up front, and now Lamage will try to hit. Goes to the back row. Lloyd is there. Peart will set it up for Lamborn across the other side. A push into the corner. It's right on the line. It's in, and the Rebels are down by just 1, 3-4 on the Uinetado scoreboard. You get Peart setting for Hefner and Lamborn up there on the front row. And Lloyd's been real successful serving because of that. Lamage passes up front. They'll set it up for Lamage. Big hit, and she just powered that one right between Hopkin and Hefner. Point to the Eagles, and it's 5-3. Eagles with the lead on the Unititle scoreboard as Lindy Blumel goes back to serve. Lindy, the serve to the back. Lloyd passes up front. Peart will set it for Lamborn on that far side, and she's over the top a little bit. Must have mistimed her jump and hits it into the net, making it 6-3 Eagles on the Unititle scoreboard. That'll send Lindy Blumel back to serve again. And Blumel, one step and hit makes the serve. Here's Peart with the set for Lamborn. Lamborn again trying to push down the line in the corner. Can't quite get it there. Now Lamage hits it over for the Eagles. Rebels will set it up again for Lamborn, trying to hit it hard. It's blocked, and Hefner keeps it alive. Just hits it back over the net. Now the set for Lamage, blocked by the Rebels. They dive to keep it alive. Lloyd hits it, and now Hefner gets it over the net, but just a bit long into the corner, just outside the line. And it's 7-3 Eagles on the Unititle scoreboard in set number 4. The Lady Rebels leading 2-1 in this match. Blumel, Lloyd, the pass up front. Peart has to move a bit and sets it up for Hefner. Now Lamage gets the big hit as Hefner's hit was passed back up high, and Lamage just on the second hit made quick work of it, making it 8-3 on the Unititle scoreboard. Lady Eagles on top. Blumel again the serve. Lloyd passes up front. Peart across the court. Hit by Lamborn. Blocked. Out of bounds. And there's the side out we need. It fell back on the Rebels side of the net, but it was out of bounds. Last touched with a block by the Lady Eagles. So the Rebels down by 4. 8-4 on the Unititle scoreboard. And Hefner back to serve. Serves over the top. Lamage passes. Now she'll get the hit up front. Blocked by the Rebels. Lamborn now pushed over the top, and we're going to get a carry against the Lady Eagles. So a point to the Rebels. It's 8-5 on the Unititle scoreboard. This broadcast tonight brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. Danielle Hefner again to serve for Rich High. Goes down that far line, and it's just a bit outside. So it's 9-5 on the Unititle scoreboard. Rebels trailing the Lady Eagles as Taylor Lamage goes back to serve. Goes long to the back row, and Hefner misplays it. 10-5, Lady Eagles. Lamage again to serve. Goes to Lloyd. Lloyd passes up front. Peart sets it up for Lamborn on the far side. Hits it through the blockers. It's tipped by them and played out of bounds on the far side of the court. Rebels get the point, and it's 10-6 on the Unititle scoreboard. Rebels down by 4, and Andy Cornea will check in to go back and serve. Cornea serves to the back row. Hallam passes up front. Not a great pass, and now Lamage will just push it over. Lamborn passes to Cornea. Cornea sets it up, and not a great set as Lamborn will just push it over, try to find that corner, but the Eagles are there. Now Dennis hits it over, and the Rebels get a double hit as they try to set it up. And it's 11-6 on the Unititle scoreboard. Lady Eagles with the lead. Hallam back to serve, and this is a tough spot for the Lady Rebels as Hallam goes to serve, and Lloyd has a hard time getting underneath that beautiful serve that just cleared the net. And it's 12-6 on the Unititle scoreboard. And this is where Rich High got into trouble in that second set. They were down 7-5, and the Eagles went on a big run. Timeout on the court. We'll take a quick one as well. 12-6, Lady Rebels trail on the Unititle scoreboard. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Rebels push it back over the net with Peart and able to get the point. As we get back into action real quick here, Lamborn will go back to serve for Rich High, trailing 12-7 after that timeout. They get the side out they want. The pass, or they serve by Lamborn to the back row. Lamage's pass is out of bounds over the net, and the Rebels now trail by just 4, 12-8 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Lamborn will go back to serve again for the Rebels. Goes to the back row, and the pass into the net, hit back down by Peart. Lloyd was right there, too, and the Rebels on a 3-0 run, trailing 12-9 now. It was 12-6. Coach Stewart took a timeout, and the Rebels have been solid since that point. Lamborn, again, the jump serve, going to the back row. The pass this time good by Lamage. They'll set it up, and here's the hit, and a nice hit by Bailey Gross. It wasn't real powerful, but it gets past the blockers and into a gap in the Rebel defense. It was kind of just a soft one that died to the floor. And that'll send Alyssa Rasmussen back to serve. Peterson, the pass up front. Cornea will set it up for Lamborn, the big hit, but long. 14-9. Lady Eagles lead on the Uinetado scoreboard, and Rasmussen again to serve. Lloyd is there. She'll pass it up front. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd, who pushes it over the top. Tipped, and that makes it tough. Lamage dove down. She was there, but Bailey Gross reached out with one hand and tipped it again and misplayed it. Made it 14-10 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Rebels trail, and now Lilia Brown will go back to serve for the Lady Rebels. Brown serve to the back row. Good hard serve. Not a great pass, but they're able to set it up fairly well. The Eagles are. And now the hit by Lindy Blumel is long and out of bounds. And it's a 3-point game, a 3-point set once again, 14-11. The Rebels trail on the Uinetado scoreboard as Brown goes back to serve again. Serve is long. Yes, you may have heard if you can hear that. They heard some shouts by the Lady Eagles shout out. And they pull away, let it go, and it's out of play. Bailey Gross to serve. And, the Rebels, Lamborn and Brown, both looked like just caught flat-footed. Maybe each one thought the other was going to take it. Falls to the floor, and it's 16-11 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And now the serve by Gross is long. Rebels let it go. And it's a side out. Now Peart will go back to serve with the Rebels trailing 16-12 on the Uinetado scoreboard, leading 2-1 in the match. Peart serve to the back row, dives, and a great effort just by the Eagles just to keep it alive, and then a tip by Dennis. Or no, that's Blumel rather. And boy, she just saw a hole in the defense and just tapped it over there in the corner on the southeast side of the court. And now Blumel will go back to serve. Lamborn passes up front, and Rebels will set it up to that far side to Lloyd. It's blocked back there, but the Rebels keep it alive. Lloyd again tips it over the blocker into a hole in the defense, and the Rebels get the point. It's 17-13 on the Uinetado scoreboard. Rebels trailing, and Lloyd goes back to serve. That puts Lamborn and Hefner on the front row along with Hopkin. And this is a rotation the Rebels generally have done pretty well with as they keep it alive. A big hit by Lamage. The blockers were there, but they couldn't keep it alive long enough, and the Eagles get the point 18-13. They have the lead on the Uinetado scoreboard here in set 3. They won set 4 rather. They won set 2, 25-7, and they're ahead of here in set 4 as the serve by Blumel goes into the net. And she just chuckles at herself after that serve. It was not pretty. It's 18-14 on the Uinetado scoreboard. And Danielle Hefner will go back to serve for the Rebels. Hefner's serve into the net. Looked low, and it didn't quite make it over. So 2 straight serves into the net. Not something you see often at this level of volleyball. And that will send Lamage back to serve. Lloyd passes. Peart will set it up for Lamborn. Big hit blocked back by Blumel and Tessa Dennis. And back to the Rebel side of the net. It's 20-14 as Lamage will serve again. Hefner passes. Peart will come over, make the set for Lamborn, and she pushes it across the court. Saw that hole. She went up to make the big hit, and the defense was moving. Rasmussen was moving to her right. Lamborn hit it to the left side and found the floor. It's 20-15 on the Uinta scoreboard as the Rebels get the serve back, but a timeout first. We'll take a quick one as well. With the Rebels trailing, you're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online. You can watch it at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Cornea serves, and the Eagles will able to get it back over the top. Now the Rebels will set it up. Peart tips it over the top, and the Eagles can't control it. We're going to have extra hits on the Lady Eagles, and it's 20-16. Rebels trail on the Uinta scoreboard with the serve here. Cornea back to serve for Rich High. Serves down the line here on this near side. Pass up front. Now they'll set it up. Not a great set. And Gross will just have to hit it back over the top. Now the Rebels set it up for Lamborn. She hammers it right into Lamage. Almost looked like it went off her shoulder and ricocheted to the ceiling, back to the floor. That's how hard that hit was by Lamborn. And it's 20-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels trying to fight back into this one. Here's Cornea with the serve. Back row. Hullum passes up front. They'll set it up. Here's the big hit, and the Lamborn keeps it alive, but tipped right back down by Dennis. And the Eagles will get the point there and lead 21-17 on the Uinta scoreboard as Hullum will go back to serve. Hullum serve to the back row. Peart will come over and pass it up front. Set. Now the hit by Lamborn down the line. It's in! It's on the line, and the Rebels make it 21-18. Back to within 3 on the Uinta scoreboard, and now Lamborn will go back to serve. There's that court vision. She saw that hole down the line and just hammered it right where she needed it to go. Oh, and now she hits it into the net on her serve. It could be costly right there as the Rebels are now the Eagles are now knocking on the door, leading 22-18. Back to serve goes Rasmussen. Rebels will set it up for Peart, pushing it toward the back row, but Hullum is there. Pass up front. Set it up for Gross, who tips it over. Rebels can't control it, and it's 23-18 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rasmussen again the serve. Lloyd will pass it up front. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit, blocked, and kept alive by the Eagles. Hefner will pass it. Now Cornea sets it up, and here's the hit by Lloyd. Lloyd, again, blocked by the blockers of the Eagles, and now they'll set it up, and a big hit. Boy, Blumel just almost like a hook shot pushed that ball down on the Rebel side of the net, and it's 24-18 on the Uinta scoreboard. Set point here for the Lady Eagles. Cornea sets it up back row for Lamborn. She'll just push it over the top. The Eagles will set it up, and here's the hit by Blumel. The Rebels diving effort to keep it alive. Nice job by Hefner. Rebels push it over the top, and the Eagles will set it up. Here's the hit. Lamborn hits it high for the Rebels to keep it alive. They'll set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit, and a diving effort by Lamage to keep that alive. Now Dennis again, the hook shot, but it's out of bounds this time. And the Rebels get the point and stay alive in set number 4. Trailing, though, 24-19. They need make that a 7-0 run if they want to get the victory here in this one. Peterson back to serve. Good strong serve to the back row. They'll set it up, a back serve. Now the Rebels are there. Lamborn passes up into the net, and Cornea goes over the line underneath the net to try and keep it alive. And that's going to end set number 4. The Lady Eagles will get the win 25-19 on the Uinta scoreboard. And we are tied at 2 games apiece, headed for set number 5 here in this match. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball here at KADQ 98.3 FM and online at KADQradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99. Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. So far tonight, the team on the north side of the gym has won each of the sets. Rebels had it in the first set. They won 25-21. Eagles had it in set 2. They won 25-7. Rebels got it back in set 3. They won 25-16. Eagles were on the north side in set number 4. They won 25-19 to tie this matchup at 2 sets apiece. And now the Rebels will be back here on the north side. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, maybe the Rebels still lined up down there on the south side. And we'll see if they switch sides here in a bit. I would expect that. It's been a few games or a few matches since the Rebels went 5 sets. Their last few matches have gone just 3 sets. They beat the Mustangs on Thursday 3-0. They beat Duchesne last week 3-0. They beat Bear Lake 3-0 a week ago on a Thursday. And before that, the last time they went 5 sets was, I'm trying to look back. They lost to Evanston in 3 at that Cokefield tournament. They lost to Rollins in 3. They lost to Alta in 3. They beat Mountain View in 3, and they lost to Evanston in 4. So this may be the first time they've gone to 5 sets in this season. Looks like they're not going to switch sides for this final set, which, if the trend continues, would not be a good thing for the Rebels. But we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm putting too much stock on what side of the court the team is on. It just depends on how they come out and play. Rebels on that far side of the court if you're watching at KADQradio.com online. And Ellen Peart will serve to start this 5th and final set. It's a tiebreaker. Again, Rebels won 25-21 in the first. Lady Eagles won 25-7 in the second. Rebels bounced back to win 25-16 in the third, and the Eagles bounced back to win 25-19 in the fourth on the Uinta scoreboard. And the beginning serve here in set 5 is brought to you by the station in Randolph. Here it is from Peart. Lamage receives, passes up front. Now the Rasmussen will set it up for Lamage. Big hit, Lamborn's pass into the bleachers, and the Eagles go up 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. And that initial lead hasn't made a difference so far. Each team has led early, but then lost or won the match later on, or lost the set. Rebels were able to set it up, and Lloyd's hit blocked by the Eagles. It's 2-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lady Eagles with the lead, and Blumel goes back again to serve. Blumel. High arching serve. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set it up for Hefner. Hefner tips it over the top, almost finds the hole, but the defense is there. Lamage now tries the same thing, and the Rebels are there, but Peart's pass is a bit low, and Hopkin can't get underneath it, and it's 3-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. And with this set only going to 15, it's getting dangerous here. Blumel, back row. Lamborn will pass it. Peart will set it up for Hefner, hit down the line, and it's in. It's on the line. From here it looked out, but I'm on the other side of the gym, and that makes it 3-1. Rebels get the point and the side out on the Uinta scoreboard, and now Lloyd goes back to serve for the Rebels. Lloyd serves into the net. Ouch! That makes it 4-1 on the Uinta scoreboard, and boy, in a match that's going to 5 sets, you can't have mistakes like that very often and hope to win. Lindy Blumel back to serve now for the Lady Eagles. Goes back row. Lloyd passes up front. Peart will set it up for Hefner. Hefner's tip over is partially tipped by Dennis, but she can't control it. It falls on the Eagle side of the net, and it's 4-2. Lady Rebels trail on the Uinta scoreboard with Hefner going back to serve. Peterson checks in. Brown out, so we need that height on the front row. It's Hopkin, Lamborn, and Peterson up front. Hefner serve to the back. Passed right back into the net. Rebels hit it back down. And Rasmussen, that's Blumel is there, but she can't control it. Rebels get the point and trail by just 1 on the Uinta scoreboard. It's 4-3. Hefner again back to serve for Rich High. Her serve to the far side of the court, passed up front, up high, and then they'll set it for Lamage. Blocked back by Lamborn, and we're tied at 4 on the Uinta scoreboard. What a block by Lamborn. It was just a light tip, and she got that fingertip over there to tip it back over the net down to the floor. Here's Hefner once again. Back row, passed up front, and Blumel will set it up. Lamage pushes over. Lloyd is there. Good positioning by Lloyd. Now they'll set it up for Lamborn. Hit hard right at this Eagle bench, but it's just out of bounds. Hit a bit long, and it'll be 5-4. Eagles regain the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Back to serve is Lamage. Lamage goes to the back row. Lamborn to her knees to keep it alive. Rebels will push it over by Lloyd, and the Eagles will set it up. They'll set it up here, this near side. Big hit by Gross, and the Rebels, Lamborn just tips it over. Somehow, she was quick enough to make that play. The Eagles had no time to react, and we're tied at 5 on the Uinta scoreboard. What a tip. What an effort by all the Rebels to just keep that play alive. And they tie it up. Cornea back to serve now for the Rebels. Serves to the back row. Hullum passes. Here's the set up front, and the hit, not a strong one by Gross. Rebels now will set it up far side for Peart. Peart tips it down the line. Eagles keep it alive. They'll push it over the top. Hefner passes up to the front. Cornea sets it up for Peart, pushing to the backside. Lamage keeps it alive. They'll set it back up for Hullum. Hullum will push it over the top. Lloyd passes to Cornea. Cornea sets it up. Big hit by Lamborn, just outside. And it's 6-5, Eagles leading by 1 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Lamborn trying to find that hole in the defense, just hit it outside the lines. Lloyd in the back, this one might go through the hoop. No, the Rebels keep it alive, and they'll hit it over the top of the net and keep this one alive, this rally. Now the Eagles set it up, blocked by the Rebels. Pushed back over by the Eagles. Lloyd, Peterson sets it up for Lamborn. Lamborn pushed to the corner, and the Eagles will set it back up. Now a tip, and great vision by Michonne Blumel. She saw that the Rebels hadn't rotated and got the defense over there, and it's now 7-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lady Eagles with the lead. Hullum going back to serve. Good strong serve to the back. Lamborn passes up front to Cornea, who sets it back up for Lamborn, and again trying to hit to this near side right here in front of us. She hits it long and out of bounds, and it's 8-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Our fans right here in front of us maybe getting worried. Cornea will pass, set it up for Lamborn. It's blocked. Hefner's there, but she can't control it. It's out of bounds off the Rebels, and it's 9-5. Lady Eagles with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. Coach Cindy Stewart wants a timeout. Got to settle them down. In danger here of a loss. 9-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels trailing. And you're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend, and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM and online at KADQradio.com. The Rebels trailing by 4, 9-5 on the Uinta scoreboard as Cornea sets it up for Peart. Big hit, back line. It's in, and the Rebels get that side out. There's the composure that they just needed to regain coming out of the timeout. And Lamborn will go back to serve. Rebels have some ground to make up here in set number 5. We're tied at 2 in the match. Lamborn serve to the back row. Lamage passes up front. Rasmussen will set it up, and blocked by the Rebels, but not well enough. And the hit by Gross to the floor, and it's 11-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lady Eagles looking for 4 points here and take this one home. Rasmussen serves. Lloyd pass up front. Cornea keeps it alive as it was hit. And now the Eagles can't keep it alive. And Rebels will get the points. Coach Hansen out here arguing with the official, saying we had arguing for her side, but not going to get it. It's 11-7 or 10-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Peterson serve. Rebels keep it alive. Good hit by the Eagles, and a nice job by Hefner to get it over the net. Now the pass back into the net, and somehow the Eagles keep that alive. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it for Lloyd. Lloyd pushes it over. It rolls across the net. Now tipped right back down by Peart. A diving effort by Rasmussen to keep it alive. Not enough. And it's 10-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels fighting back into it. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
The serve by Peterson, not controlled by the Eagles. It's passed up into the ceiling, and it's 10-9 now on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels down by just one. Here's Peterson again. Her serve, just long. Lamage at the last second pulls those hands away and lets it go. A wise decision for her, and it's 11-9. Rebels trail on the Uinta scoreboard. Set number 5. And Gross goes back to serve for the Eagles. It skips off the top of the net. Lamborn gets underneath it and passes it up front. The Rebels will get it back over the net. Now Rasmussen will set it up. Big hit for Lamage, and it's blocked by Hefner and Lloyd. What a block, and the Rebels get the side out and trail 11-10 on the Uinta scoreboard, and they'll send Peart back to serve. Trying to get a rally here. They were down by as much as 9-5. And now here's Peart to the back row. The Eagles can't control it. They don't get underneath it well enough. And we're tied at 11 on the Uinta scoreboard. Another timeout on the court for Coach Brescia Hansen. The Rebels on a big run here. They've tied it at 11. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Rebels tie it up at 11 in set number 5 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart serving to Lamage, back row. She'll pass up front. Set for Lamage, push over the top. Peart is there. Now Hopkin will set it up for Lloyd. Over the top, and Hollum is there. They'll keep it alive, set it up for Lamage, pushing, and Brown is there. They'll set it up for Lloyd this time on the far side. Hit and misplayed by Gross, and the Rebels are on top for the first time in set 5. 12-11 on the Uinta title. Knocking on the door. We're tied at 2 in this match. And the Rebels with Peart serving. Lamage pass up front. Rasmussen sets it up for Lamage. Big hit. She hammers it home. Comes through in the clutch for the Eagles. And we're tied at 12 on the Uinta title scoreboard. Boy, Lamage hammered that one hard. Rebels had no hope to return that hit. Back to serve now goes Michon Blumel. Tied at 12. Set number 5. Blumel, back row. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit blocked. The Rebels keep it alive. Brown hits it high off the ceiling, and Peart hits it over the net. Rebels breathe a little bit longer here. They'll set it up for Lamage. A diving effort by Peart to keep it alive. The Eagles scrambling, and they'll get it over the net. Lamborn's pass to Peart. Peart sets it up across court to Lloyd. Down the line, the push. Now the push to the corner. Lamborn dives. Peart is there, and they'll keep it alive. Brown will push it over. Will hit it over. Now the Eagles set it up. Rasmussen sets it. The hit, and Peart is there. The pass, not great, and the Lamborn will just push it over the top. What a rally we're having here as they'll set it up for Lamage. The big hit. She hammers it home, and it's 13-12. Lady Eagles regain the lead here in set number 5. 13-12 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Blumel will go back to serve. Michon Blumel, the serve. Peart will pass it, set it up for Lloyd, who can't get underneath it enough, and it's 14-12. Set point here on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels had tied it up at 11, then took a 12-11 lead, but the Eagles on a 3-0 run here, and they lead 14-12. It's set and match point coming up right here at KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. You can watch it. The streaming video coming to you at KADQradio.com. And boy, what a match this has been. Rebels took the first set. Eagles bounced back, took the second set. Rebels took set 3. Eagles bounced back, took set number 4. And so far, the team on this north side, that's the right side of the gym, has won all 4 sets. And the Eagles on the verge of keeping that true with set point here, 14-12. Here's the set, or the serve. Lloyd passes up front. Peart sets it up for Lloyd. Hit and punched back into the air. The Eagles can't make it happen. They can't control it as Lindy Blumel was at the wall. And it's 13-14, 14-13. Rebels trail by 1 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Reagan Lloyd goes back to serve for the Rebels. Lloyd, here's the set point once again. Pass to the front row, and they'll set it up for Lamage. The big hit blocked by the Rebels. Hopkins blocks it out of bounds to the Eagle bench. And that's going to give us our final 15-13. The Eagles will get the win over the Lady Rebels, 15-13 in set number 5 on the Uinta scoreboard. The Eagles win set number 5 and take the match 3-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. What a fun match we had here tonight from Rich Middle School. Well, that's the end of our action tonight, the end of the 5th set. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ. Stay tuned. Coming up, we'll recap the match set by set. We'll visit with head coach Cindy Stewart. This is a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM. And you can watch these games online at KADQradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big old tires, we go the extra mile. Revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing. All the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online. Watch it at KADQradio.com. Just an exciting and incredible match here as the Lady Rebels drop just about as close as you can get. 15-13, the final in set number 5. Rebels lose to the Lyman Lady Eagles. And boy, it was a tight one. First set, Rebels won 25-21. Something happened. Not sure what happened in that second set, but the Eagles went on a tear. They switched it into a different gear, made it and won set number 2, 25-7 on the Uinta scoreboard to tie the match up at a game apiece or a set apiece. Set number 3, the Rebels bounced back, got the win 25-16. It was like a different team out on the floor. They went on an 8-0 run to close out that set number 3 after the Eagles were within 1. It was 17-16 before the Rebels scored the next 8 points and got the win 25-16 in set 3. Set number 4, it was the Eagles going back the other way. The Lady Eagles got the win 25-19, and we were tied at 2 sets apiece. In set number 5, the Eagles built a lead 9-5. They went on a 4-0 run. Then the Rebels bounced back, went on a 5-2 run to tie it up at 11. Then the Eagles went on a 3-0 run, made it 14-12. Rebels got a point, but then the Eagles got the side out and won 15-13 in set number 5 to get the victory in the match, 3-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. A great match here tonight. With that, the Rebels back at 500 on the season at 5-5 overall. And with next Friday's match coming up against Tabiona as part of next week's homecoming festivities. That'll be our next broadcast of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3. Well, I'm hoping we can get the attention of Rebel coach Cindy Stewart. I think she already left the building. She skipped out pretty quick. We'll see if she comes back. Stay tuned. We'll hope for an interview with Rich Rebel head coach Cindy Stewart in just a bit. You're listening to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3. And watch these matches and games online at KADQRadio.com. Again, our final score on the Uinta scoreboard: Rebels lose 3-2 to the Lady Eagles of Lyman.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to the Lady Rebel post-game show here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. Lady Rebels, a tight one here. They lose in set 5, 15-13 on the Uinta scoreboard, and the Lyman Lady Eagles take victory back home to Wyoming. Lady Rebels, boy, it was a battle here at Rich Middle School, and a battle just to get this match on the court as the power went out this morning in Randolph, and lots of problems with the substation as I understand it. And so they moved the match here to Rich Middle School, and Rebels, it was a tight one. They won set 1 25-21, lost set 2 25-7. Not sure what happened there. It was a little bit of an anomaly based on the rest of the set, or the rest of the match as well. Rebels took set number 3 25-16, lost set 4 25-19, and lost set 5 15-13 to lose the match in a tight one here at Rich Middle School. Well, I think we've missed our opportunity to talk with Coach Cindy Stewart. I'm not seeing her anywhere. Maybe we can get Superintendent Dale Lamborn to come up and talk with us here for our post game real quick. And in the absence of Coach Stewart, you get called upon, Dale, to join us here for our post game. What did you think about the match?
Oh, it was a real good match. I thought both teams hit the ball well, blocked fairly well, and so just one of those where we didn't come out on the right end.
These are two evenly matched teams, and it was almost player for player. You had Hefner blocking. You had a couple. Who was it on the other team? Number 27, Michonne Blumel, who was making blocks, and then you had the big hitters in Lamborn and you know her pretty well, don't you?
Yeah,
Cammy,
yeah,
Lamage on the
close.
other team. Yeah, she's
so
close.
yeah. But anyway, it was a fun ball game, and both teams competed hard, and just and both teams played defense really well. It wasn't like you could hit it and think it was going to be a winner because they'd bring it back at you.
Yeah. Well, a tough match. Now, next week is homecoming week. The Rebels will have Tabiona. Do you know anything about them?
Well, I think Tabiona is going to be pretty good this year. Coach went out there and did a camp this summer and said they've got some pretty good girls. So, yeah, I think it'll be a decent match.
And anything on the football game you can tell us? I know football will be hosting Monticello.
This is going to be a huge one for the football team because if they're going to get to the finals, they got to beat Monticello and then hope something can happen with Duchesne. But certainly, we don't want to be on the same side as Duchesne when it comes playoff time, and beating Monticello is a good step in not being on the same side as Duchesne.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for the impromptu interview here, Superintendent Dale Lamborn. Thank you. Well, again, the Rebels, a tough loss to the Lady Eagles of Lyman. You've been listening to the post-game show here on KADQ FM 98.3, and coming up next, we'll have our on our post-game show. We'll take a look ahead at what's in store for our Rebels. Again, the final score on the Uinta scoreboard: Rebels lose 3-2 to the Lyman Lady Eagles. This is a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Bad credit? No credit? No problem. See Castle Rock Chevrolet for the marginal credit sale this weekend. At Castle Rock, we understand how essential owning a vehicle you can count on really is. So we don't care what your credit score is. Come into Castle Rock Chevrolet this weekend and we'll do everything we can to help you into the vehicle that you want and need.
We're Castle Rock.
Bad credit? No credit. No problem. Castle Rock Chevrolet in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. And right now, let's take a quick look ahead at Rebel sports and activities that are coming up in the next week. And as we talked about with Superintendent Lamborn, Rebels hosting Tabiona next Friday night in volleyball. And it's a busy Friday, and we'll try to bring you as much of the action as we can here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. The Rebel football team hosts Monticello, and we'll have the pregame for you at 3:20 with kickoff at 4 p.m. next Friday afternoon as the Rebel football team again hosts Monticello. Directly after that, with the first serve scheduled for 7 p.m. next Friday night, is the Lady Rebels. So as soon as we get finished with the football game, we'll run into the gym and bring you all the action, all the coverage of the Lady Rebels hosting Tabiona next Friday night. The freshman Rebel volleyball team will host Evanston freshman team. That'll be at 4:45 next Friday. And then on Saturday, the freshmen will play at Lyman. So a little bit of a rematch against the Lady Eagles, at least for the freshman team. That's what's coming up next week for the Rebels. This weekend, the Rich Rodeo Club has been down at Salina. They had rodeos yesterday and today down at Salina. Now they have almost 2 months off before they head back down for the St. George 6. 6 rodeos over the course of 3 weekends down in St. George, November 15th through the 30th. Of course, next week is homecoming for the Rich High School Rebels and all kinds of activities. And tune in Monday afternoon. We'll have a chat with Rich Rebel Athletic Director Scott Ferguson. He'll tell us more about what's coming up in homecoming activities next week. And that'll be Monday afternoon in our Coach's Corner at 3:30 right here on KADQ FM 98.3. And again online at kadqradio.com. Well, our final score on the Uinta scoreboard, 3-2. Rebels take the loss to the Lyman Lady Eagles. This has been the postgame show and the Lady Rebels postgame show. It's been a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. And again, our final score: Rebels lose 15-13 in that set. Number 5, 3-2 was the final match score. Join us again next Friday night as the Rebels in football host Monticello. Kickoff is at 4, and then the Lady Rebels that night hosting Tabiona. We'll be on the air with your pregame show at 3:20 for the football and volleyball right after that for the pregame. Until then, go Rebels.
You've been listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High School Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 with video online at kadqradio.com. Today's match has been brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals: Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists. Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups were brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set was brought to you by The Station in Randolph. And your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast was You Win a Title. Thank you for listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Rebel Sports on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Thank you.